Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sarah. For those of you who don't know me, I have birds and I'm in the East Coast Avian Association, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but it's probably going to be really long, and I'm sorry. There's just so much that I have to say. Um, I'll start with I tried to do this video with my green cheek conure out of her cage, and it didn't work. So she's normally out with me when I'm in this room. This is my bird room. But she is probably going to scream the whole time I try to do this, and I apologize, but it's better than the whole thing being covered and obstructed by her trying to attack the camera. Alright, so this video is going to be about a little budgie that my husband and I named Terry because we weren't sure what his name actually was. I'm basically going to try to bring everybody up to speed who hasn't seen all the posts, and those who have been following, give them an update. Terry was living with another budgie in what I will call a not appropriate bird cage. They were fed and watered fine, and the person who was taking care of them just didn't have enough information to really care for them properly. We aren't sure exactly what happened, if he got out of the cage and hurt himself getting out of the cage, or if one of the person's children stepped on his foot, but he was obviously in a lot of pain, she noticed, and she did contact a vet and got a quote and was not able to afford it, and basically just decided to leave him in the cage for a few days. Even anybody knowing about this is all because of a girl named Emily who posted on the East Coast Avian Association group about this bird that she saw when she went to babysit for these people a few days later. Emily posted a picture of this bird and asked if anyone could give advice on what to do. And lots of people messaged, and we found out about her not being able to take it to the vet. And I decided that I had enough free time and enough extra cash to at least get it seen at the emergency vet, and I sent Emily a private message with my information. I had her pass that along to this woman and told her if she wants to contact me and surrender the bird to me, I will take care of it and take it to the vet and make sure it gets looked after properly. And she did the right thing. She messaged me, and I went to this stranger's house and picked up this bird. He was terrified, and I felt really bad that, he was in this situation in the first place, but she did the right thing. As sad as the whole situation is, and she surrendered him to me. My husband and I took him to the Burnside emergency vet because we called them, and Four Paws as well. Four Paws was not comfortable enough to even look at him, so we went right to Burnside. We were able to get somebody to look at his leg, but they were not comfortable diagnosing him. They were comfortable giving us some pain meds to help ease the pain, and sent all of his records to Dr. Goodall at Sunnyview. Sorry, I've got a cheat sheet here. I'm trying to stay on track. So I paid for the bill, and my mother actually sent me some money to help, which is great. So that bill was completely taken care of by me and my mother. I emailed Sunnyview and explained the situation, told them that I'd be calling in the morning, and if they got the email before I called to please call me and wake me up. Um, they called, and there were no appointments until 7 p.m. that night. I had to work, so we settled on an appointment at 9 o'clock the next day. Not even an hour later, Dr. Goodall called me himself, told me basically, I read the email, and please just, we'll worry about figuring out a price later. Just get that bird in to be seen. He's like, I will work overtime and between patients and do what I can. So we brought him right in, dropped him off, gave as much information as we could. Um, they did everything they could. That was when I did make a post saying, I am footing this bill myself. If anybody who does want to help out, message me and we'll figure something out. And I have contacted everybody who has helped privately, so you are all up to date. They are all up to date. Everybody knows what's going on. As much as I can say. Anyways, I'm going to get back to the help that he received from other people shortly. I will continue going on about the situation. So the prognosis was that the bird's leg was broken at the elbow and also had a spiral fracture, so it was basically completely shattered. Dr. Goodall tried to splint it and couldn't because there weren't enough points of contact where it was so badly broken. And he called me and basically said, we can put him down, or, and I asked, I realized just quickly, I've seen birds live with one leg, and I asked him if he thought amputation might be a successful procedure. He said he'd call me back, and he consulted with some other people who were knowledgeable. And they called me back with the quote. I believe it was $438 or something to that extent. I don't actually have the bill. I will explain that to anybody if they want, privately. And I okayed for him to do the procedure. It was 50-50 if the bird would live, but at least I would give it a chance rather than no chance at all. Anyways, this was a last resort, doing the surgery, an absolute last resort. There was nothing else they could do. I promise. I made the best possible decision I could. I got home last night, and Dr. Goodall had called my husband and said he'd have more information for us today. So, I'm sorry. The little guy didn't make it. But we did everything we could. And, I'm so overwhelmed with how much people tried to help. And, there was so much support. I have privately messaged everybody who helped, and thank you so much. And for those of you who still want to do something, you can donate, not to me, to Hope for Wildlife or any kind of organization like that. I do want to emphasize everything has been covered. If you're wondering, those of you who I have sent your donations back from me, it's because we had an anonymous donor insist on paying for the entire bill. They don't want their name spoken. And, I can't believe what a generous thing they did. And they don't even want recognition for it. But I do want to let you guys know, everybody who has sent me money has either had their e-transfer canceled or their checks are being remailed as soon as they reach me. So please, nobody send, if you somehow got my email address or got my home mailing address and were thinking about sending anything, don't send it to me. If you want to donate anything, send it to Hope for Wildlife or Bite a While or the SPCA. And I just want to move on to talk about Dr. Goodall a little bit and what a wonderful thing he did. He worked on a day where he was completely booked up, stayed overtime just to help this little bird and did everything he could, and that is absolutely incredible. So anybody who wants to send the clinic a message of thank you, that would also be really awesome. I did want to move on to a few things that can come of this whole situation. I want to use this as a means to educate more of the general public about bird care and the importance of research before getting a bird. Some possible ways I've thought about going about this is approaching the newspapers, CBC radio, something like that. I do want to collaborate with people and try to get ideas and see what we can do, because honestly, all we can do to prevent future things like this happening is try to educate people. And I'm not looking for revenge on anybody. This woman who had originally owned this bird did the right thing. She still has another one, which she has offered to surrender to me. He is in perfectly fine condition. I told her I am happy to take him, but I would like her to think about it for one more day, and that any help I could offer her for his care, I would, and that tomorrow, if that is what she decides she wants to do, I will pick him up. I am not planning to keep him. I am planning to just take him in and find him a perfect home. Instead of looking for an adoption fee, what I will ask is that whoever adopts him takes him to see a vet right away as soon as possible and pays the bill. That will be, like, to me, way better than any adoption fee, because that shows that you will have the ability to care for this bird properly, and it's something that you should do anyways when you get a new bird. So I think that's fair. If anybody has any questions, please message me directly. This was one of the most rewarding, stressful, and amazing things I've ever done, but it wasn't just me. I need to emphasize how much this was such a group effort. I may have driven the bird everywhere and picked it up and took it to the vet, but there were so many more people than just me involved, and I'm so grateful that we have this community. If it wasn't for the East Coast Avian Association, nobody would have even known about this poor bird, and if it wasn't for Emily being brave enough to say something, we couldn't have helped him. So thank you, everybody who I haven't personally messaged yet a thanks to. I'm sorry for crying on camera. I thought it was, I know there was somebody who is a little visually impaired who I thought it might be better to just post a video with audio for them and for everybody else, because, I mean, I didn't want to talk about this in text. I'm sick of typing. I just thought it would be easier to do it this way. If, again, the anonymous donor has the bill and does not want me to post it publicly, so I'm going to honor that decision, and I promise that everything is taken care of. We've done everything we can, and if anybody else does want to contribute in any way, you can make a donation to Hope for Wildlife, Bite a While, or the SPCA. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm absolutely floored at how much support our community got up and tried to give in this emergency situation. Thank you so much.